Yeah, so I've played a lot of games. I know what I like and what I don't like. One of the fun things is like when character skills interact and things kind of matter, and also when you get you know a good return on a loss is really good. And so a lot of games, if you lose, it's just it. You get no resources. You even go down in MMR. You know, your ranking will go down. Like if I want to unlock the later units in battle, whatever, I have to actually beat people in a row, right? And it's kind of. I wish I hadn't played, because once you get into bombs and mind control, the game is over. Bombs, mind control, and the wooden carts, the early game is the best. The early game is awesome. Yeah, Battle Legion. So anyway, that's how mine's going to work. I already designed it where every character, no matter what, is going to have the exact same stats to begin with. And all of your beginning characters are going to have like personal. They're going to have a personal ability unlock screen, which is going to increase base stats. And base stats being increased is important because they're going to get multiplied by star level, and they're also like, yeah, you want higher base stats are precious. Anything that adds a single point into base stat has a big deal. And so yeah, the game's designed around like 33 health, 11 damage, 1 defense, 3 crit, 7 crit damage, right? 7% crit damage. And so crits are going to be interesting, since in my game, like the resource, there's going to be, there's essences and that's it. There's no other resource in the game beyond essences. Um, and you get them all by playing the game. Like if you have a long match, you get more essences, a lot more. And the thing that's interesting, the reason like I show for long matches, is that some of my characters, like the Elementalist, I'm going to put it so that when he crits, he generates an essence, right? So he has 4 bolts he'll fire from over his head, and they seek random targets. They're all elemental, and each one, if it crits, will make an essence. If it crits and it kills the unit, the essence flies through him, right? And if he crits and it doesn't kill the unit, the essence bounces off. And it's just to represent that a certain like enormous amount of energy had gone off, right? That it was unique. So anyway, as your units star up, yeah, 1 star is only 3% crit, 9 stars 3 times 9. So you're critting a lot more often when you get up to a high level in the game. And so yeah, the way I'm designing it, and I haven't made it yet, but I'm a good artist. You can look at my stuff. I'm a great artist. I'll be able to program. Programming's easy. There's visual scripting now, right? There's cookie cutter. There's recipes. You know, there's only a few things I really need to make in the game, and then all the coding is done. And yeah, so. But the auto army spawner point's going to be really fun, and especially once the combat engine is done. And then once I get everything working, and then like all of the all that, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, adding new units. I'll take an afternoon. Hey, here's a new boon. $1. You can play it. All right. They're gonna be so mad at my success. They're gonna be so jealous. But yeah, the boon idea is great. So a boon is a collectible. You don't play them, they go off randomly. Each boon at level 1 has a 1% chance to go off. Each boon at level 3 has a 3% chance to go off. Level 4 of a boon will return some resources to you. So, yeah. You can collect essences to unlock character stats or to get boons. And a giant pile of boons means your odds go up. Like 700 boons, right? It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm going to have so much fun doing it. Like, a mid-tier character might be like a little unit that spawns that has like, a block automatically on him, right? That's like a mid-tier unit and ability. A low tier would be like a melee or ranged unit that's like pretty weak, but you're better off having it than not, and I'm looking at games like Battle Legion, right? They do have hundreds of units on screen at a time battling it out, and it doesn't get laggy. So mine's gonna be like that. Yeah, it's gonna be, your squad's gonna spawn 7 at a time, but they can stack up, and the enemy will spawn however they spawn. So yeah, basically I'm going for, I don't want a lot of archer stuff. I like more like magic. There might be a couple arrows. Yeah, there'll be like, who knows, like there'll be like a tower, right? There might be like a balcony on the tower where if you get a character will stand there and shoot from there. You know, but yeah. I want the tower to have some, maybe the tower has like one basic attack, and then there's going to be like boons that just add an attack. Like now it can shoot lightning, now it can do that. So you have all those boons, but they don't go off every time. So obviously the more you have, the better off it is, you know. The more chances you have to win, but the more characters a person has, the less likely they are to get star levels. So hopefully I'm planning on getting a balance between new and veteran players. Yeah, veteran players are better, and they have more units, but yeah, they just have more unlocks. They'll just be better overall. There won't be much. If you're a beginning player, you're not going to be able to compete with someone who's later on. But anyway, yeah. The thing that's going to make my game great is that it's not gonna treat your losses as bad. Is that your losses are going to accumulate basically your winning pot, and the thing that you get from the enemy by beating them is accumulated by them by playing. So every mote that, or every essence you create that you don't physically touch with your guys gets collected by the enemy, and it sits in the enemy layer. And PvP might be different. PvP I might do like, you know, maybe there's a pot in the middle, you gotta win. It is competitive. There'll be like, you know, I'll put some castle stuff so you can pay for like upgrades to your castle protection. Like maybe level 0 you get wrecked. Maybe you can have up to 20% or 80%. Nah, yeah, 20% protection. You can't take more than that. But yeah. It's going to be fun. PvP is going to be squad v squad, so however it looks. Yep. And then PvE is going to be fun. It's going to be like a wave pool, as the enemies are going to get stronger and more of them if you're doing well, and it's going to get you to a balance so that you get the, you basically want to get like a farm going where you're starring up and you're getting essences, and you want to beat them, but you understand that if they beat you, they'll keep the essences. I'm making a great system where if they win, all the essences they collected got plus 10%. So yeah, you may not have shit to spend. You may have only gotten a pile. And it's going to be fun, like the early game. I'm going to start the player off for the first time they play. They might almost win. Maybe I'll give them the very first match. But after that, they're going to be losing. And what I'll do is I'll gate it. It's only after they have a bunch of upgrades for their starting characters that they can actually get enough to pass the first stage and get their first big pot. So all the starting upgrades will be like, every character starts with 33 health, 11 power. Their upgrades are like plus 1 health, because plus 1 health, 34 health, 1 times 9 is 9, so that's plus 9 health overall at 9 stars. So it is quite a bit. It's quite a bit of an upgrade. And so, yeah, it's just increasing the base stats to make the character come out. Like the Dark Woman will have 4 points in crit damage and 1 point in crit chance, right? And or maybe no points in crit chance, maybe 4 points in crit damage and 1 point in whatever, right? Because she does a crit damage buff. Yeah, I just have excellent design. I've seen all these other games and how they do it. Here's how they do it. They don't give the character enough interesting things that just is unique to them. They really don't. Like the most you'll get a ton of characters, but like only 4 skills each, and they're just not that interesting, and there's a lot of characters that you just don't need anymore. Well, I'll only have 15 characters, and it's all based around like archetype fulfillment, like what are they actually doing? And those are the characters you'll roll in your squad, and then you're gonna have hundreds of just little random units that I'm gonna make. Like you really need like running animation, attack animation, getting hit animation, and dying animation. Maybe no getting hit animation, maybe that's it, right? That's all you need, right? And so there's gonna be like every round you spawn, there might be 3 or 4 extra units that are pretty interesting. Like I like the idea of a unit that heals structures, right? She puts an overshield on structures slowly. So if like Mechanic Annie, it'd be a great boon, a great ultra boon. You got Mechanic Annie. That is a game-winning boon, right? Okay, so she'll spawn, let's say with the first wave, she heals your structure like 0.3 HP a second, but she'll go to plus 100% HP before moving on to the tower. So she just like, yeah, she adds like layers of armor, right? She's just like, maybe she does the castle until it's plus 100, and then once the castle's at 100, say if there's a tower, she'll walk to the tower and then do that until whatever happens, right? And so, yeah, there's that. You know, of course you can get units that are like archers, units that have, you know, spells and buffs, or you'll just get plain buffs. Like a really good top tier boon would be a free resurrection on a unit. I don't think I'm going to have any resurrector units. I just don't feel like making that. They respawn so quickly. I'd rather put like, you know, a death shield, like can't go past 1 health for 10 seconds. Something like that. Yeah, that'd be a lot better. Going to 0% health revives the person. Revive with 50% health and frenzy. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I gotta make a buff system. I gotta make all that, but it's gonna be okay. Yeah, the boons are gonna be a lot of fun because the boons are collectible. Maybe there'll be like a starting pack where it's like 10 boons for $10, right? You get 7. Maybe 1 boon of each tier for the starter. But yeah, there's gonna be a top tier boon list. Like, if you get this boon to come, I forget what it is. There was like a really cool boon idea earlier. It's rare though. But yeah, if it comes out, oh yeah, this is one. 7 Inagami. So each element has an Inagami, which is a type of wolf spirit, totally borrowed from other games I've played. And if all 7 Inugami come out at once, you instantly win the game, and both players instantly win the game, and you both get 1000 R, right? But you gotta collect all 7 Inagami, and then they all have to be summoned in the same round, so it's really rare, right? That'd be really fun. That'd be really fun, especially if like you master playtest tools. I just have a new idea. All right, 7 Inagami. How tough is it to draw a wolf? All right, now draw it with like, you know, you need 7 run animations for the elements. Maybe you just have 1 wolf and just change his color and add little flare things, like, you know, whatever. And now you got the Inagami pack, right? Now this player's logging on, he's like $50. Get all 7 Inagami and instantly win the game if all 7 come out. And the Inagami, when they spawn, will always take the highest star you have, and they will all have buffs for other Inagami. Yeah, if you get 2 Inagami out at the same time, each Inagami has a buff that goes to other Inagami. So, yeah, maybe all 7 at once you win the game. You'll get like a special cutscene or something like that. Just like a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, there'll only be a few game-winning modes, and it shouldn't be every time. It should be like rare. You should see it like once your whole career and talk about it. Like, I saw this happen. It was super weird, right? That's what I want to do. I want to make it like this game that's like a really good shell of a game, a really good basic game, but that there's lots of room to add new things on, and that's what I'm excited about. Yeah, it is what I'm excited about, is having a canvas to draw on, you know, and make stuff. So anyway, the tower design I really like, because towers in games are fun because they're kind of like a danger zone. If you're pushing into a tower, it's particularly hard. You don't want to be trying to fight an army and pushing a tower. And so it's going to be fun. Like, you're going to push up and maybe get to the enemy tower, and then that extra power will like knock you back. But the ideal is that by the time your wave gets killed, the next wave is out. So yeah, it's a squad auto spawner. And so whoever spawns with the squad spawns with the squad, and every boon you get every time a squad spawns has a chance of activating. So it is going to be a lot like collect boons. That's going to determine rank, but I think it's going to be really fun for the PvE, because the PvE is going to be like, again, like one map. It's going to be stylized. That's just the game map you play on. But there's going to be like, it's going to have a really good wave mode, and I'm going to have good like 20, 30, maybe even hour-long games, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna push them to necessarily win every time, because it's gonna be, when they lose, they get plus 10% to the enemy losing pot. So yeah, let's say they walk over, like, the ideal is that this player struggled, They did their best. You know, they got all these upgrades. Like, it'd be fun to add like a machine gun, right? Here's an AK-47, and just put like a little thing on the character where this thing like sits over their body, right? And then when the machine gun gets close to somebody, just starts shooting, right? Just random stuff like that. Or like, you know, have a wisp, something you can attach to the character that shoots, right? That would be cool. Yeah. Armor and weapon attachables, you know, yeah, to the spawn. It's gonna be really cool. Some boons will give you items. Some boons, an item will last. An item you can attach to a character and they'll keep it every time they spawn. And yeah, so like armor would be good for that. Any wand. I like that I'm combining. There's no attack. There's power. Power covers healing, etc. Like the druid. The druid, when bear form, converts power into defense. All of his power goes to defense, which is a really good trait. It's awesome. So, yeah. But it's going to be for, like, a character that doesn't do anything but sit in the front line, right? Like, he's healable. He has maybe, like, a swipe. I don't think the bear would have an AoE. He would just be an extra kind of, like, tank, right? Taunting is tough, because if you could do just, like, straight up, you're just the front character, you don't really need to taunt, but it helps because it keeps ranged pressure off your back line. But, yeah. And then giving him block chains. So at first he was going to have like 10 blocks in a row, like every block he did in a row successively, resetting if the block count changes. And that, yeah. And then print to log is really interesting. Like they always teach you how to do that, how to print. I was like, why are you teaching print? Because you can tell the computer to react when certain things are printed. You can tell the computer to look there until this happens and then do something about it, right? So it's like this character critted on that. Now you can go, okay, create an essence, right? But it's got to have like unlocks. You know, I want it to be. I literally want it to be like the first match you might win. The second match, you're gonna encounter a lot of. It's gonna be really grindy, really slow, and you might probably lose. You might lose the first 4 or 5 times you play it, but every single time you're basically taking the 20% you could keep and slowly buying all those character skills up until you have every major character skill unlocked. And then I'll make it so, yeah, like the second level. The only way you can pass the second level is if you have all the characters unlocked and then you get them to like 7-star. And then you're going to be able to get through the second level. Which is going to be fun. It's just going to be fun to design mathematically. Like, how does it balance, you know? And I'm thinking of, like, the baseline for every character is 33 health, 11 power, and then 3 crits, 7% crit damage, and 1 defense. Or maybe even 0 defense, right? And so that's going to be the baseline of every unit spawning. Yeah, there might be, like, a little cheap, crappy unit that only has 20 and 8. Right, little ranged archer, 20 and 4. So all he can do is just this little poke damage. But that's still better than nothing. You're talking about a 6-man squad. Yeah, if you had a 7th person archer shooting little bits here and there, like, that's going to make a difference. It's not going to be terrible. But it's going to be fun to make. It's going to be fun to make all the little odds and ends, all the little powers. Like, you know, yeah, it's going to be fun to collect the boons, because the way it is that, okay, boons have a chance of dropping from any unit, and the boons all have an equal rate. You know, it's like 51% for common, something else for other things. In common, there's going to be a lot of common boons. It's going to take a while before you collect all the common boons. But eventually, and what's going to be cool is if I figure out how to do all the boons in a table, right? Do them all in like an Excel table, including their like images and like all their you know, associated art, and yeah, maybe they'll just be the element and the rarity, right? But yeah, if I'm making, let's say I make a series called droids, I'm gonna need 7 types of elemental droid, and then the rarity of the droid summon makes more, right? You know, it's between 1 and 7 new droids. You'll get 7 in a Sublime, right? Yeah, 7 droids in a Sublime is really good for like round 1 of a match, if that happens, or any time. Now you have a little extra firepower. But again, it's going to be like, you can make 300 boons, and they're still statistically only going to get between 3 and 9 per wave. And considering most of those will be like +1 attack, +1% health, you know, it's not going to be like, there will be excessively powerful boons in the higher tiers, but for the most part, the collection's going to feel like a steady ramp up, right? And yeah, there's going to be boons that you notice. Like, I'm going to have boons that are just straight up a character that just hangs out. Like, what about like a little totem, right? You summon a totem near your spawn point. Anybody who walks through it now gets a little speed increase. Or maybe a totem that throws out Mighty Block on people who don't have it. So anyone who walks through is getting a block put on them, right? And a block will matter, because 1 attack does 11 damage. That means you don't want to be... It's almost 20 minutes. It is 20 minutes. Alright, well, that's enough of King of Castle. King of Castle. RNG King. What did I talk about this time? Yeah, I talked about just what I wanted to do with the boons, and with surviving and dying, and economy. You know, you're going to be able to make my premium essence using the essences you collect, and for, you know, a nominal amount of money or time right in the tree, you're going to be able to unlock every single like harvesting thing. Like, you're going to want to get the Tide Surfer, right? She can give you light essences, and then you're going to want to, you know, maybe the healer won't generate a special essences until something happens, right? Maybe the healer doesn't drop light essences unless she dies, right? So you got to watch her die, and then you get 2, right? And so getting essences will be like, you're gonna like scrounge together like how to get essences and start getting them pouring in. But yeah, at like a high level of play, yeah, you should get 100 essence every time you play. Like, at the end of a winning game, there's gonna be 3 cards. There's gonna be a card for uh, plus essence, like plus 66 dark essence. There's going to be a card for ×2 all the essences you got. And then there's going to be a card that's a boon. And you're going to want the boon. The boon's better because it's a permanent collectible. And, you know, you're going to roll for a boon. And if you happen to get a rare boon, which you can, hey, lucky. You got something like, it's going to summon a cool unit. It's going to give you a buff that matters. Plus 30% health. You know, health regeneration, vampirism, an extra, you know, something that sits on your character that auto shoots, something that sits on, like, there might be like, with items and like item collectibles, yeah, there should be like 3 or 4 main items that have tiers that you can merge to get higher tier items for sure. There should also be like specialty ones, like a little healer companion that will occasionally toss out a heal on somebody at 45% power, like once every 5 seconds, right? Just a menagerie of stuff. The RNG King's gonna have just like a menagerie of stuff, and that's kind of like what I have planned for. Is that it's gonna be really fun to see the simulation continually go. And you're going to get rooted in watching the characters get better. Because, yeah, Shield Guy, when Shield Guy comes out, Shield Guy's got a 33% block. That's it. 2 blocks don't do shit. You know? And maybe I'll have, like, 2 trees where it's like, I have modes currently where each slot has 2 positions and you can be in either. And so a unit that's in a slot for, let's say Shield Guy. Shield Guy has 2 options. If Shield Guy gets 2 blocks in a row, he can make a water clone at 10% health, or he can make an overshield at 10% health. And then I'm going to have a special unlockable that allows both modes to activate at the same time. So characters will have modes What are you really using them for? That's what's going to determine kind of what mode is better. And so you're going to be able to think about it like a druid. One mode's going to be a tree healer. One mode's going to be a bear, right? You gotta switch. If you have already a tree healer going, you might want to put a bear out. So you're gonna see that wave made it, and so you're gonna switch him and put out a bear, and then the bear is gonna help because he's gonna give extra tankiness. Yeah. I kind of like a super high defense, semi-useless unit. Like the bear will do good damage. The bear will have cleave and stuff like that, and it'll have a high amount of inertia. But it's gonna have like all its power goes. That's what its special. Maybe it just does single attack, right? It does a really crappy single attack, but all of its power goes to defense. So 11 defense, that's insane. You got things that are at least that. If it's a 3-star druid, that means you're getting 33 defense. That means everything doing less than 33 damage is doing 1. And everything over 33 damage is getting subtracted 33. So it's like, yeah, it's a super tanky character, right? That's a super tanky character. I like the design. I might do 50% power, but it still is like if you're using a bear, like one side he's healing, the other side he's doing that, and then the double mode for the druid is becomes a boomkin. Yeah, he's since the druid has 20% rejuvenation instead of 10%, the druid special trait. The druid's gonna have 20% of the damage and incinerate as moonfire. So moonfire adds to incinerate, but at a rate of 20%, and it's gonna be like a long range nuker. Yeah. If you get the double mode to go off. So yeah, do you want your water guy to be a titan where all the shields are his, or do you want him to disperse? It'd be like if you're fighting a single target, you want your shield guy to be earning overshields on himself, and if you're fighting like a swarm, you want more surface area, so you want to have water clones. So every 2 blocks, he gets a water clone spawn, right? But you got to win 33% chance rolls in a row, right? And so a character, here's the brilliance of the design. A character with 33 health, getting hit for 11 damage, he can lose 3 or 4 blocks in a row and die. He can lose 2 blocks in a row, hit a block, and then get healed, not activate anything, and then get hit again, and he wouldn't die, but he'd get close. You'd feel it. You'd be like, you'd see it. So it's not going to be a turn-based RPG. No turn-based. It's going to be sandbox. Everything's moving and attacking at once, and it should have constant action. You should get comfortable with watching where it is and going back and forth. And so, yeah, the 3 player cooldowns. There's going to be a turret, a mass AoE heal with overhealing. So if there's any overhealing in the game ever, no healer will overheal a target if they're at full health. But if you get healed at minus 1% health and it goes over, then all that goes into overhealing. It's an overshield. And some characters add overshield raw, so you can have a health pool that's missing and some overshield. And I'm also going to have splat damage. Splat damage is if you do an attack that's over that's over the health they needed to kill them, the extra health gets radial distributed around them. Yeah. And that's going to be something the Dark Woman specializes in. She specializes in splat damage. So yeah, it's going to be kind of fun. Like, yeah, I guess I'll stop it and put on Dark Woman design.